Hello everyone, here are the top 25 best game deals in the Steam Summer Sale for 2026. I'll be covering some of the best games that are available right now and some deep discounts we got because there's actually some pretty crazy sales for games that actually have content coming up here soon. Now, this is the lowest price ever for Baldur's Gate 3, one of the best games ever made. It is a game with 58 different subclasses, built-in mod support, and actually makes different subclass weapons and even combat mods for this game. And I gotta say, if you're not a fan of turn-based combat, you might actually end up liking this one because it feels very tactical and by far the best turn-based combat that I've ever had in a game. It also has some great voice acting as well as actual motion capture for all the scenes. It is a generational game. With new mods releasing every single day, and I actually release mods pretty much weekly, there's a lot of new stuff for time to come, with new quests, new areas, and much more getting added to the game. This is the lowest price it has ever gone, with a 25% off sale. It's 59 Canadian, around 49 American. Now next up we have Borderlands 4. This game is now at its lowest ever price, and what's amazing about this game is there are 2 free content updates that came out yesterday with a whole takedown, which actually is like tons of hours of content, as well as a new Circle of Slaughter, so the end game is looking amazing. There's also another huge free update that added a new raid boss last month, and there's lots of new content on the way. Honestly, I think Borderlands 4 may be my favorite. I've played every single Borderlands game, got like thousands of hours in Borderlands 2, and this is the most refined that the game has ever been, with great voice acting and just a general fun story to it. Not cringy like it was in Borderlands 3. If you're a fan of the Borderlands series, this is honestly a pretty solid time to get into it with all the new free content updates that have been added to the game. And if you see reviews from like a year ago, things are much different. But most impressive is the Child of Terramorphous update that they added yesterday. Really great. I'm a big fan of this game, and for 50% off, and even the DLCs are on sale too. Next up, we got The Witcher 3, which is 90% off. The best part about The Witcher 3 is there is a new DLC that'll be coming as a tie-in to The Witcher 4, and it honestly sounds like a pretty massive DLC. I know most people have played this game already, but if you haven't, this is a generational game as well. It's just seriously incredible. The story is the shining star of this. I gotta say, I don't love the combat in this, but there is official mod support coming to this game, so if you're like a fan of Skyrim, this is a great time to get into this as well. Next up, we have Doom: The Dark Ages. Now, I played this game when it first came out, and I still go back to it from time to time because I think the gunplay is really enjoyable. Doom Eternal was obviously like lightning in a bottle for like the Doom series. This game is still really good though. I really enjoy this. If you like parry mechanics like Dark Souls, you'll be at home with this game because you got a shield you can parry with, and it's heavily tied into the gameplay. Now, I will admit, this game was not that challenging. I played it in the most difficult setting, and I didn't struggle. And I'm no pro gamer, but hey, if you're into the games that, you know, are great cathartic stress release, the Doom: The Dark Ages game is for you. 67% off, pretty solid sale. Next up, we got Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Now, I was a really big fan of this game. This is a Souls-like, so if you've played like Elden Ring and any of the other games, you'll be at home with this, as it does have a pretty big challenge to it. Now, this, unfortunately, the development studio did get laid off, but I do think this game was incredible and definitely worth playing. If you're into the Soul-like genre, it's honestly one of the better ones that released in the last year or so. There was like the first Berserker Khazan, there was the this game here, as well as Nioh 3 being like my favorites from the Souls-like genre. So if you're looking for something new and challenging to play, Wuchang Fallen Feathers. I'll also give a follow-up mention to Nioh 3, which is also 30% off here. Really great build variety in this game. There's a lot of really fun weapons. You can swap between a samurai and a ninja form at will, and this has a lot of like Pokemon-like mechanics, believe it or not. Like, yes, you can capture that, and it's called Raiju. So yeah, it has a lot of things going on, and honestly, one of the most interesting build crafting that I've seen in a game. Great story as well, and it's just a general fun game. So yeah, another Souls-like, and I'm going to finish off with another one I just quickly mentioned here with the first Berserker Khazan. Unfortunately, this is another game where the entire development studio got laid off, which really makes me sad to see because this game was incredible. This is probably the most challenging of the 3 that I mentioned here, but if you really like the anime cel-shaded graphics, you'll be at home with this game with 3 different weapon types, which is much less than Wuchang Fallen Feathers and Nioh 3. It makes up for that in very refined gameplay. So all 3 of these Souls-like games are worth playing if you're a fan of the genre. Nioh 3 is probably the most accessible of them. Next up though, we got the Digimon story, Time Stranger. This game just released this year and it's already sitting with a very nice 30 or 43% off. So this is a Digimon game, so if you like Digimon, you'll be at home with this. If you haven't watched it since your childhood, but you're itching for a game kind of like Pokemon Digimon, this might just be for you. And really a well done game from what I've seen, and a pretty nice deep discount this early after its release. And next up, this is a generational game as well. Detroit Become Human. This has one of the most thought-provoking stories that I have played ever, and it also has some pretty big voice actors in it with Neil Newman, Astarion from Baldur's Gate. Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs is in this. Also the guy from Grey's Anatomy. There's just a lot of stuff going on in this game, but the narrative and the story in this is great. It is mostly like a visual novel type game. Like you do move a character around through the world, but for 90% off, this is a story that you just can't miss. I guess bouncing back to the Souls-like genre here, I meant to include this a bit earlier. Stellar Blade. This game I absolutely loved. It has got one of the best soundtracks that I have ever heard. If you're like a fan of Nier Automata, you'll be at home with this game because the soundtrack is very similar. It is Souls-like combat, but there is difficulty settings. Lovely outfits in this as well. And honestly, I am really excited for the next game in this series. If you're a fan of video game modding, you'll probably have seen Eve's outfits many a time. Yeah, it's sitting pretty with a 33% off. Diving back into the deep discounts, we have the Dead Space remake. This is 90% off. Honestly, pretty crazy sale. It's a horror game, shooter, third-person shooter, and it's a really fun one. If you are into horror games, this would be one of the ones to get, especially because this is the lowest that hit has ever been. So yeah, Dead Space Remake is on sale, alongside another kind of horror-esque game, not really, but The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. This is a roguelike. Huge fan. I've been playing Mutagenics a lot lately, made by the same creator, and this is it's a roguelike game, so you die many, many times, and you get to try to get better and better each time. It is pretty dark and disgusting. I guess that's the horror of it, but it's a top-down shooter like this. Edmund McMillan makes some really genius games. For 90% off, this is like the lowest it's ever been at $1.69 or about $1 Canadian or American. It's worth grabbing, in all honesty. Next up, we got Hotline Miami. This one is also 90% off. This is a fast-paced gunplay game, and exactly the same, kind of similar to what we saw back there with The Binding of Isaac. Top-down twin-stick shooter-style gameplay. And yeah, this one is just like a dopamine fest. It is a lot of fun. We're checking out for sure. Now, also a deep discount that we have is Dishonored. If you haven't played this is like another game that is just amazing. You play as like an assassin here, first-person game, lots of cool lore to the world, and it's a must-play game at around $2. Yeah, if you haven't played Dishonored before, this is a great one. It's overwhelmingly positive for good reason. Next up, we have Slay the Princess. Please don't. This is the lowest that it has ever been. It is on sale, 50% off. This is a visual novel, but it's unlike any other that I've played because it makes you think a lot, and it takes you to places you wouldn't even imagine. It's really crazy. You get to choose different dialogue options, and it takes you through if you're trying to kill the princess, or maybe you're not. It's entirely up to you. You replay this game through and through, and you have different options as you continue to play through it. This game is like a literal, it blows your mind as you play through it. And again, it takes you to places you would never imagine going. Yeah, for the lowest it's ever been, highly worth grabbing. Next up, we got the Sea of Thieves. Now, if you're into pirate games, there's been a lot of great ones, and a new one coming with the Assassin's Creed remake coming out here soon, but this is a fun one with friends or even a solo. I would recommend playing this with friends, though, and if you're into pirates, I would recommend it. If you don't care about pirates, I can't recommend it, because that is like one of the best pirate games of our time. It's action-adventure, you go exploring islands, you do what pirates do. Now, Dragon Ball fans, Xenoverse 2. This game I love. I played so many hours of this on PlayStation, and for 90% off on PC, it's incredible. Xenoverse 3 was announced recently, and the premise of this game is you're playing as Trunks, my favorite anime character, and basically you go through and try to fix the timelines, as there are characters that are showing up and messing with them, and you're trying to correct that. So it actually lets you replay through everything that happened in Dragon Ball, the story, but you get to see things from an entirely new perspective, and new things happen. It's definitely a fun game with 90% off, crazy. Next up, we have Date Everything. Now, this game is a virtual like sandbox dating simulator created by the voice actor for Cyclops. So if you play Marvel Rivals or watch the X-Men 97 game, or even play Borderlands 4, he voices Amon. He also voices characters in this. There's a lot of, you definitely know characters that are in this. If you're into video gaming, there's a lot of big name voice actors in this. I wouldn't have ever thought I'd recommend a video game that's about a dating simulator, but I've talked to a lot of people that really enjoy this game, so I had to give it a mention at 66% off. Yeah, this is the time to grab it. Swinging to the other end of the pendulum, we got the Cult of the Lamb 50% off. This game is also overwhelmingly positive for good reason. It blends roguelike elements with kind of like an Animal Crossing theme to it, but as you see there, it's about a cult. It's really weird, but it works. So you get to create your own village as like your home base, then you go out and fight in combat. You're trying to keep everyone happy. They're going to try and dissent against you. There's a lot of interesting elements to this game, and it is really funny. A fun to play game. And if you're a fan of roguelikes, this is definitely worth checking out. Next up, we got Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I'm sure a lot of people have played this game. Released last year, great voice acting. It's a great turn-based action RPG type game. It's got pretty much everything you'd want in a game, kind of like Final Fantasy. It's generational. I played and beat this game the week that it came out, and I was hooked on it. They just recently had a free update. It's emotional. That is Andy Serkis, who voices Gollum. It has some big name. That's even Charlie Cox, who voices Daredevil. So yeah, this is incredible what this smaller studio Sandfall has done with this game. Really cool actions and skills. There's a lot of build crafting in this game, and it's got some pretty cool graphics. Beautiful music. I go back and listen to the music from this game all the time. It actually has bangers, like surprisingly incredible music. You wouldn't expect it from such a small studio with their first game, but it was made with passion. Another game made with passion, Dispatch. This is more akin to like a visual novel. You have Moist Critical, if you're a fan of Charlie White. You also got Jacksepticeye in here. You play as like a superhero Dispatch, and it comes with a lot of silly things to it. So a cool story, and yeah, this is definitely a game to check out. Only 20% off, but it's not super expensive, and it's worth the experience for about $25 American. Next, we got first-person shooter Atomic Heart. There is a sequel to this game coming out, and this one, you probably recognize the girl robots in this game. They were just about everywhere when this released. It does have some build crafting to it and cool elements, lots of different weapons. The main character does get a little bit annoying at times, but still worth checking out. And next we have Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Now, I played this game at release, and apparently it has gotten a lot better. I have not revisited since then, but this is a beautiful world. It does play like Far Cry, so if you like Far Cry games, it's similar to that. But you feel like an actual like Navi in this world. You're big, you fly on different things, and the world itself is quite beautiful. I played this one on PlayStation 5 because it only released on PS5 initially, but this is definitely worth checking out. And for 40% off, pretty solid sale overall, especially if you're a fan of the movies. It's a pretty good game. It's actually getting decent reviews here. And when it launched, it was not that. And next we got the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Now, this is a game from a very long time ago, remastered, and it's kind of interesting. There is some mod support for this game, but it's running kind of like two engines at once, but it's honestly a beautiful game. I enjoyed my time replaying this game, and if you're someone who had played Skyrim, it looks better than Skyrim. I honestly prefer Oblivion over Skyrim, but these games have definitely aged, so if you find yourself getting bored in Skyrim, you'll probably get a little bored in this game, because it does have some repetitive elements to it, but you go through these Oblivion gates into Oblivion. It is very cool and demonic, unlike like Skyrim. With all the snow, this is much different, but I still think a very worthwhile game to check out, especially if you love Skyrim and never played this game. And next up, we got the Outer Worlds 2. This is on for 50% off. Honestly, pretty solid game. I enjoyed playing this. It's kind of like a Fallout in the future type vibe. There's multiple different companions that you can all see right in there in the shot. And it does have some funny like mockery of the capitalist world that we're living in. It's a fun game. Lots of different planets to explore. I honestly think it's a pretty fun game in general, but the next one's a pretty big one. We got Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts HD 1.2 and 2.5 remix. Now, Kingdom Hearts 4 is coming out in the future here. This is great if you're a fan of Disney, or even if you're kind of a fan and you just think the premise of this is really cool. It is a really fun game. It has a lot of stuff going on. You'll see, like, it actually has one of the best soundtracks ever. Like, I sing some of the songs all the time. It's just catchy. And even all the DLCs and everything are on sale in a bundle as well for a pretty cheap price. And next up, we got Persona 3 Reload, with Persona 4 coming out at the end or start of next year in February. I'm really looking forward to that. I personally really enjoy the Persona series. Persona 3 has some of the very catchy music. I've mentioned music in a few games. I listen to Persona 3's music all the time. It's an RPG. You go through dungeons, you fight waves of enemies, and you got different personas, which are kind of like, I compare them to Pokemon if you're familiar. You fuse them together, create new ones, and they're all really cool. Bunch of different references like Thor and things like that. So yeah, it's a fun game, and I gotta say the graphics look really nice in this. I'm really looking forward to Persona 4 Remake, but for this, having it 65% off is pretty solid. And last game that I'll recommend here is the God of War Ragnarok. Now this is 35% off, but I personally really enjoy God of War Ragnarok. Very mature and deep story. It's not for everyone. If you want to see Kratos be like a raging madman, he still is raging, but he's a father too. The story is incredible in this game. I really enjoyed it. 3 different major weapons that you get. There's not that many Atreus sections in this game nicely. You get to play as Kratos for most of it, unlike the very first one. And you're fighting against Thor and Odin. It is the complete end to the Norse mythology section of this game. With a new game coming out in the future, this one was an incredible experience. So there you have it, folks. Some of the best new games in the Steam Summer Sale 2026. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, or if you have any questions about all these games, let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys have a great day. Subscribe if you enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one.